Hi guys, welcome to the review of Alice Madness Returns, the long-awaited sequel to American McGee's Alice. The last time we left our heroine, Alice had just been released from the asylum, supposedly free of all her awful memories of her family burning alive and all that good stuff. Now we see her back to her twisted Wonderland, trying to completely rid herself of all these poisonous thoughts. That being said, her Wonderland is very beautiful. It's a very beautifully rendered game. Each chapter that you go through in Wonderland is going to be designed around some sort of central theme, be it a factory or underwater or what have you. I can say that the developers did a very good job as far as making the levels visually pleasing. They're beautiful, right down to the splotches of color, right down to Alice jumping through the air and you see her hair flowing really nicely around her custom outfit for every chapter. The characters are designed in such a unique way that it's hard not to be distracted throughout your gameplay by how cool the Mad Hatter looks or how the March Hare is so dark and twisted now. It's a really unique and nightmarish sort of take on the typical idea of Wonderland. The eerie and haunting sort of atmosphere is just so captivating, and I will have to admit that throughout my playing this game, I've definitely been distracted by just how pretty it is. Occasionally you are going to run into some weird use of textures, repeating patterns on the walls and floors, things like that. A lot of people ragged on this, but I don't find it terribly distracting. I think the color and beauty of each individual level really just overcomes that sort of thing. All that aside, I put a lot of emphasis on the beauty of this game just because there's nothing else going for it. While each individual chapter is really nice to look at, the absolute drudgery of jumping over ledges and fighting enemies, the boring hack and slash format that you're gonna face with this game is absolutely infuriating. And you know what? I like hack and slash games. They're a lot of fun to play. But when you face the same enemies with very little variation in combat over and over and over again, it becomes a whole nother nightmare. The control scheme is laggy, slow, and sluggish. If you've played a platformer before, you understand how vital it is to have responsive controls, default or otherwise. The default controls in this game are so inconveniently placed that I spent so much time trying to avoid falling off a ledge and dying. While I completely understand that such a thing should be possible, the way that it happens in this game is absolutely ridiculous. Occasionally, they'll try and throw in a nice little puzzle that you have to solve. Something you have to do that's not, basic hack and slash, just to try and mix things up. These are even more of a headache. Little things, like the fact that Alice herself can't jump and attack at the same time, so you've got no aerial ability as far as that goes. Things like her jumping from ledge to ledge and not being able to grab onto the ledge that you're trying to go to. All these small misdoings throughout one playthrough call for the most infuriating death sequences I have ever experienced in any platforming game ever. The only positive thing I can say as far as the combat system goes is that the weapon upgrade format is really well done. It's very simple, it's very easy to use. You're not going to need to add, plus 19 fire damage or something like that. It's as simple as selecting a weapon and upgrading it. The weapons themselves are interesting and unique. You're looking at a pepper grinder used as a sort of Gatling gun, an umbrella as a shield, or a hobby horse as a hammer of sorts. Regardless of how interesting her weapons are, it does not compensate for the fact that Alice simply does not do what you tell her to do. Overall, this isn't a great game. It's not even a good game. But in all honesty, it's not the worst thing I've ever played. If you played the prequel, thought it was awesome, really, really loved it, only then would I recommend you rent it. Renting it will satisfy your need to fulfill the story and all that good stuff, but you won't want to kill yourself afterward. It's a migraine waiting to happen. Alright, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check out the full written review on www.gamersarmada.com. See you guys around.